BlackhatJaguar, an extra large entertainment presence. The 21 Trials of Thomas Forte. Sacrifice by Clarence Carrington. Act 1. Eternity is unstoppable. Ancient Mojave Desert, Alter Earth Prime. The haze of the sun blazed hard into approaching noon. The winding dust whipped across the flat sands, and the warm breeze whistled along the skies. A lone traveler, dressed in thick brown boots and gray fatigues, slid swiftly along the ground on a whispering aero bike. It peeled along the rocks and sands until the engine suddenly cracked and a spark peeled up from the exhaust valve. Thomas's survival instincts pulled his mind through the terrible sound to the possibility of crashing. He lowered the bike from the nose and pulled his arm down to the rugged sack on the far side of the seat beneath him and rolled off the bike as it sputtered again. The lucky rider skid and stopped, landing on the bag as the bike exploded in a flash of white fire, and he stared into the wreck. Something sabotaged his ride, and he knew the source must have come from the engine. Flicking his bag over his shoulder, he stepped along the side of the rocks, not covered in sand, and approached the now charred remains of his aero bike. Thomas pulled down the small opening near the face of the engine and found a flat, turquoise stone lodged within the side of turbine. It was miraculously unaffected by the white-hot flames that highlighted the crash. Picking up the flat, smooth stone, he placed it in his pocket and stomped toward the far-off sea. Thomas Forte stepped wearily through the desert, now toward the open ocean, his body a swelling weight upon his spine since picking up that stone. His adventure in Soledad a mere 10 days behind him. He marveled at this sudden fatigue, unusual to the young man who was known to walk and ride and run for miles and miles, never to feel his feet tire. He stopped, and he fell to a knee, gasping for air. A bit of dread flushed along his neck and down his back, as he realized he may soon be losing consciousness out here under the burning sun. Without even a tree for shade, he cursed the sands and sun for their cruelty. Damn, swore the young traveler. The sweat at his brow blurred his eyes as he quickly reached down for the turquoise stone. The last thing he saw was his rising right pocket, a great force rushing to his face and snuffing his conscious mind into oblivion. In a thin dissipation of sand and air, he was gone. Only the indentation where his body fell was left. In a carrying clap of light, a holy figure emerged from beyond the stars, not even a few steps away from where the young traveler fell. She was an angel of the highest order. Her golden wings gleamed like metal shears at her back. Her eyes were covered by a golden cloth, but her flowing gown and tucked toga swished with her body as she gazed around, trying to feel out where she last sensed the young traveler she had been tracking. Her head turned to the charred aero bike in the distance, and her thin lips frowned. Oriel, Cadmiel, he's just gone. I can't explain it. No, what if someone got to him already? Then come here and see for yourself, she said annoyed. A flutter of white, glowing feathers, and a group of 3 other angels appeared, spears and swords at the ready. They were all female, their eyes all covered with golden or white cloth. Those with golden wings had golden cloth, and those with white wings had white cloth covering their eyes. Verlaine, the master said to follow and protect him. What happened? Any number of things can take place in the blink of an eye, said one of the others. He was teleported by a force that was neither magic nor psychic, said another angel, her hand glowing white above the spot where Thomas had disappeared. Someone beat us to him, said Verlaine, folding her arms. In a blast of dark, malefic force, she was throttled off her feet and sent flying into the distance. The others turned to see a small girl and a little boy standing together. The boy smiled wickedly. Black muck began drooling from his thin lips. To arms, yelled Cadmiel, and the angels rose into the sky to attack the dark duo. As they came down, before they could strike, the bones along their spines, their limbs, and even their wings ruptured, sending them all spiraling down to the ground in a fit of crippling near-death-inducing pain. They cried aloud in unison, unable to move properly or fly. The boy stepped forward and waved his arm violently. A dark hush flung itself among the fallen angels, and they fell still and silent. And so I strike yet another blow against the Omnia by killing the last of the angels. Such is war, chuckled the demon boy calmly. Isn't it just as I told you? You're right. As always, he agreed. With a wave of both children's arms, the sun went out, and a red, sinister light peeled along the horizon, cloaking what was a bright desert day into a lurid red night. You can go ahead and summon your subordinates now, Moon. She snapped her fingers, and a pair of hooded men appeared. Their glowing eyes gleamed at the broken angels before them. The usual arrangement: you get their blood, I get their bodies. A fair trade considering how rare angel blood is, commented the demon. His black eyes watched as the pair supernaturally extracted the blood from the dead winged ones. What will you do with the bodies? Asked Moon as her vampire minions finished extracting the blood and backed away, bowing deeply. The boy raised his arm, and the bodies were gone. Only a few white and gold feathers remained in the sand and rocks. I've sent them back to Zombotalis for a bit of re-education, drooled the boy evilly. I like that. That's good. But there's no guarantee the hero will return here, she reminded him. True. No warranties. I'll have these angelic mongrels corrupt him or kill him first before he can meet with any elders. That will ensure either his cooperation, should he return Dash, or his extermination, finished Moon for him. Her blue eyes flashed venomously. Happy hunting, whispered the demon as he flipped from sight. Get that blood to Melody right away. I dare say Vire might be in for a rare feast. Fairy blood is good, but angel blood is rarer still. I hope he will enjoy it. She said more to herself than to the cloaked pair. They flipped from sight, and the sun flashed bright through the sky once again, revealing the telling light of day. She stared again at the spot where the angels fell, and her eyes narrowed curiously. Something took place here, but she could not fathom what it was. She waited a moment, even sniffed the air a bit, but could not figure it out. Moon, the Dark Mother, was keen to changes in greater reality, having existed longer even than her sister ancients and cohorts in the dark. The secrets of this place were lost on her, and this Earth, though it was the prime Earth nearest to the center of the Omniverse, its existence mattered little to her. She thought slowly, twisting her red hair in her finger. She weighed whether or not to destroy the planet, knowing that much of its human population had radiation-poisoned blood from the decades of war that ensued over the last few decades. Suddenly the wind shifted, and she turned, ripping through space itself in a vicious fit of teleportation to eagerly find a smoking, charred aero bike far over the ridge, staring at it long while she smiled. Finally, Moon shrugged and flit from sight. Moments passed, and the few golden feathers still on the ground on the path to the coast were covered by the shifting sands and the winds that carried them. The solid earth, far north, quaked a moment and erupted in a shattering blast of rock and sediment. The now black angels returned, their bodies wrapped in spiked, black metal armor, their wings as jet black as the dark energies swirling around them. The corruption that turned them was total, and they now knelt and waited for the hero to return on the same mission but for a more sinister purpose. The turquoise plane, an outer reality placed inside a stone. Thomas awoke stark naked on a smooth turquoise floor. It was warm on his skin, but foreign to his touch as he squinted his eyes through the semi-darkness. His mind was strangely burning, like his skull had been filled with acid, and the events of his past, present, and future were all somehow fried out of him from the inside out. He felt a sizzling at his bare skin, like he had been pulled through scalding hot coals that burned but did not damage him. Somehow he vaguely had a notion of rebirth as his hand lightly ran along his face, and his fingertips failed to note a scar at his left cheek he picked up on one of his adventures years ago. Absent-mindedly, he ran his hands along his torso, not even feeling bruises he'd gotten from the machine gun fire. he took more than a week ago. A deep groan, and he finally stood up, his muscles like steel traps forced open after years of dormancy. As his eyes adjusted to the lack of light, Thomas instinctively raked his surroundings in embarrassment. He seemed to be standing on the smooth turquoise rock he found at his aero bike. Somehow now, it was large as a mountain. An elusive form, wrapped in a flowing material, stared down at him from above. The smooth red-hued face glowered down upon him as one who sets eyes on a long-awaited guest. Her hair was like a brown sheet of wavy cloth. Her eyes were rounded slits hidden by blue shawl and cloak gown. The slender, beautiful woman lowered in before Thomas like a goddess appearing to a knight. "Greetings, I am Origina of Rao Prime. I was the one and only pupil of the Master of Elements. I was born to a family of scholars and chosen to serve the hero of eternity. If you are receiving this message, it means that I and all you speak to here are no longer in existence, for we sacrificed our lives, our histories, our memories, and our names to leave you intrinsically unique tools to challenge the might of elders," she said calmly. Her voice trailed off in the pitch-dark space and echoed along his mind. Thomas straightened up, clenching his fists. "I am Thomas Forte of Earth," answered the young traveler with a bow of his head. An awkward silence fell between them, and Thomas was instantly reminded that he was not wearing any clothes. What happened to my clothes, my gear?" "The hero alone may pass through the door after his trial. You survived the crash. Alone also means naked?" he asked, curiously watching Origina. He thought on her words and understood the accident was a test of his survival instincts. Had he died, he would not be here, but for all appearances he would be dead back on Earth once anyone found the aero bike. Chaos and death have reigned supreme along the cosmos. There are far more powerful entities killing for more power than there has ever been before. The elders of the multiverse have split into corrupt factions that have been killing and stealing souls on a massive scale. A unique hero must be made to guard reality from that which is powerful enough to destroy it. You are that hero, Thomas Forte, the hero of eternity. Thomas squinted his eyes and took a deep breath. All my life I've seen what evil costs people. I've seen people made to suffer for no reason at all. But in spite of it all, I cannot redeem the sins of an age or the shame of a race. How can I expect to guard reality or avenge the wrongs of all time? I'm not worthy, not ready. I'm one man, and it is for that reason you have been chosen, Thomas Forte. For no hero was ever truly ready when given the call. This is a journey you will undertake through an infinite amount of time and space and back. There is no way to prepare for this. You have no idea who you really are. Your very genetics come from the greatest human warriors to ever exist within reality. But you'll have help from those whose worlds have been destroyed by the dark already. Their finest work will be your tools. I now present you a message from a well-traveled space explorer. She waved her hand and motioned to the darkness at her left. A small data disk dropped from nowhere and landed at Thomas's bare feet. In a flash, a message appeared in an odd display of lines and circles. They came rolling slightly in and out of view. The data had been somewhat corrupted after years of waiting to give its message. Another ghostly form burned along the dark of the turquoise ground. He seemed to be a man melted into a machine, his form settled between biological and technological perfection. When he spoke, his voice rang like both a robot and human at the same time. "Hello, hero of eternity. I am Rex Omega, an explorer and science officer. In my travels among the stars, I met the Master of Elements, who taught me of the multiverse and gave me a great opportunity to travel. But one day, I was presented the chance to pass all my knowledge onto an individual who could make the most use of it. I learned the immense need for that individual to be well equipped with the most advanced technology possible. I worked tirelessly until I was convinced that my invention was ready. On my home, Rao Omega, technology is everything we live for. My people explored the stars frequently and respected all races in our search for more technology. Our planet was destroyed by a soul pirate named Captain Barrows. In our culture, our people were lost to time. Of the tremendous discoveries and illustrious inventions we have produced, none is more special than the omniquitometer. It is a symbiotic, wrist-mounted device. It contours to your mind an organic signature, never to be used by anyone else once it latches onto your body. This exclusivity is key for the device's optimal function, as it matures and grows with the user, stitching itself through the mind and the body, until it eventually reaches the soul and develops a soul of its own. The omniquitometer I present to you has been modified by technologies I have discovered in my travels through space with my crew, and it will accelerate its development so that its potential, as well as yours, can be limitless. Use your new tool well, and good luck. The light from the disc went out, but Thomas felt a strong grip at his left arm. He peered in amazement as a gauntlet, with 3 clear buttons clamped over his bare skin. Suddenly, the back of his mind lit up like wildfire. He could feel a sudden rush, a sensation of knowledge and freedom of mind that he had never felt before. I can feel the omniquitometer communicating to me in my mind, said Thomas quietly. Erupts Forte. Please set designation, came a voice in his head. Startled at first, Thomas realized the omniquitometer was speaking to him. Its voice was like an echo at the back of his mind, not interfering with his train of thought, but compounding it, flushing his mind with reserves of focus, coordination, and concentration like several minds operating out of one, but all linked into his own psyche. Clenching his left fist and taking a breath, he could feel a measured increase in his own already impressive physical might as his chest heaved and his muscles flexed. Set designation? You want a name? An omniquitometer. I suppose I'll just call you OM for short. Designation accepted. Hello, Thomas Forte. I am OM, said the omniquitometer. Where are we, OM? A splinter plane of existence, kept separate by some form of spatial force, answered OM. What could set all of time and space in a given area like this? Unknown, but scanners indicate a high amount of dimensional energy spilling around the sediment in the rock below. Something bad? Unknown. Repeated Om. You have another gift from a psychic priestess, bloomed Origina's voice through the billowing darkness. Thomas snapped back to attention. He nearly forgot she was floating there watching him. A crown pulled around the back of his head and over his ears. A tingling pulled his brain, helping him to see without his eyes and feel without his skin. His mind opened wide to the muscles, organs, and bones of his body and the machinery within the omniquitometer at his left arm. The information became both knowledge and awareness all at once. He took a deep breath. His entire body stiffened with tempered control and steel trap efficacy. In that breath, he absorbed the limitless gulf of mind and body and machine meshing into one like the full measure of finely forged gears and cogs, pushing along the clockwork of the cosmos that was not just his body, but the turquoise at his feet, the huge oval-shaped dome space around it, and the illusion of Origina before him, conjured with advanced alchemy. Thomas knew all this. His mind and body were already refined by the influence of the living computer at his left arm, but he felt augmented further by the crown that tingled at ears. My brain, my mind, the things I perceive. The crown, it's psychomagnetic. It will help guide me. Already I can feel the ebb and flow of this small universe around me. It is safe here. But outside this dimension, there is menace there. Like the foreboding of a closing fist, he said calmly. Correct, Enscherdom. Though she could not have fully understood the exponential change that had just come over the traveler, Origina could sense that Thomas had evolved in more ways than one. That is the weight of eternity on your shoulders. But to combat its horrors, you will need the ultimate weapon that is every weapon. Gaze now upon a wayward missive, left behind by an old man with a dream. A small metal chest dropped down from thin air. Its design was simple yet durable. Thomas and Origina turned to see a small device rise from the chest center and scan the area, turning like a periscope. Incoming bioscan vorndom. The beep of approval and a green flash of light revealed an ancient man, devoid of hair and pallid of face. The old man sighed first before speaking, contemplating what to say. "My name is Gunnar Visha. I am recording as having finished my work," cracked the old man's voice. Though he spoke wistfully, his authoritative manner was as apparent as his age. "I was born on Route Delta. My world came into contact with a sepulchrum and was drained dry. I alone was plucked through time after the fact to work on a very special project. And so now you know how I came to be leaving you this year. I come from a long line of weaponers. My father, Gunnar Musha, wove the life shawl for Origina, who put me in contact with the master of elements who put me on to the eventual existence of the hero of eternity. It falls on me to create a weapon that could benefit that hero for an eternity. In this chest you will find the harness of destiny. The harness is completely malleable, made of a self-replicating supernatural mineral that can expand and contract infinitely without expending any excess energy or mass. A good portion of it was derived mostly from a crystal metal alloy and psychically charged minerals. I augmented myself to respond almost to mental command and conjuration. It allows its master to shape the minerals into any object that can be imagined. The energy and mass output will remain elastic with the user's mental and physical might. No need of reloading bullets or waiting for a recharge. No more sharpening blades or maintenance whatsoever for any of the weapons constructed, but a keen mind will be needed to create, control, and customize anything conjured, warned the old weaponsmith. It is not the ultimate weapon. It is every weapon and must be respected. Although it could fully equip 100 armies, I present it to a single warrior. Fare you well, hero of eternity. The green light shocked out, and the small device vanished back into the center of the chest. Thomas knelt down and flipped up the latch. The old man's words pulled at his mind. A jet black harness laid folded in the soft felt interior within the metal chest. Thomas pulled up the long harness fearlessly. It unraveled slowly like a limp snake. OM beeped with a green warning. Integrating foreign material came OM's voice. Thomas's eyes leaped to the end of the harness as it snaked up, wrenching itself from his grasp and wrapped around his chest and waist. A green and brown crystalline metal cuirass glowed about his body. Armored slacks and powered boots laced his legs and feet. Woven crystal glanced along the frame of his new armor, giving the new hero of eternity a polished look. Thomas's eyes burned at the sight of his new gear. Several green flashes scanned along his eyes, feeding him data on the new armor. The sensation was already becoming familiar, having data flood his brain, and he smiled at how warm and soft the material on the inside felt against his skin. The interior was cushioned with support servos to augment his natural strength and agility even further. He could feel his mind and body and back augmented and supported as his muscles pulled and flexed. He could feel the merest trace of a calming hum resonate deeply along his body. The suit could also affect his biological rhythm, ensuring him artificially optimized health and vigor at all times. It was form-fitting, but not confining, like moving in metallic hard silk, and having clothes, looking decent, set the traveler's mind back to OM, who had no form to speak of. Slowly, the computerized gauntlet, his omniquitometer, fused into his new crystalline metal-powered exoskeleton. The result was an enhancement of the device's very nature, as a featureless form, like that of a man, but a head shorter than Thomas, appeared before the hero, lighting up a bit of the darkness before him with a green glow. OM nodded Thomas with a smile. "Why have you given me form? You and I both know you're far more than a fancy armband, OM. This is the least I could do. Your pure data made tangible, I'm not even sure that's been done before. Hold on, he said, focusing his mind. Another form, robotic, heavily armed, and as tall as the green holographic, appeared before the hero of eternity. This will be your drone form. Imagine having an infinite army of battle drones at my command. I could get so much done. I am no longer one man, said Thomas, who in his excitement at testing the near limitless power at his fingertips, forgot Origina, who gazed amused and relieved. It was rare to meet anyone pure of heart, and the sight of a man given godlike potential and choosing to create a form for his companion as his first wondrous feat gave the echo of the alchemist hope for the future. You have been granted the gifts of all, but one of those still linked to the turquoise. The final gift is mine to give, a completely singular and unique potion. It was my life's work and obsession. Though many cultures may have copied the original design, never before has a batch been more pure. It is the elixir of unending might. When you drink this potion, your body will forever be stricken with everlasting vitality and titanic strength. Your mind and body and soul will be strong enough to combat even the most powerful of cosmic threats. Unfortunately, no hero has ever been able to gain his hands on an elixir until now. Very many ultradimensional beings have predicted the use of the elixir and have prevented anyone from drinking it. Why? There is still much I cannot tell you, but I will tell you this. I can only advise that you remain true to your path and true to your soul in everywhere you go and in everything you do. If there's anything I can promise you, it's that. I've lived my whole life that way, being true to who I am, nodded Thomas, looking up at her. For a time, she did not move, nor did she answer. She floated above him solemnly, as if pained by their parting. Thomas Forte, the hero of eternity. She lifted her hands suddenly, and in a bright flash, he was back face down in the sand. Thomas hastily spit out sand and pulled up to wipe his face with his left hand. He stopped with a sudden jerk of his head to see the dark, gray device at his arm. Turning his head up to take a look at the sun, he could tell the once yellow light had gone just a bit off-center. He had been gone nearly a week. Thomas's gaze moved about his body. He saw the woven crystal and metal mesh suit and warped it with his mind, pulling between heavy battle vestments and light-plated or scaled armor of brown and green. His hands pulled up, the gloved gauntlets got a moment, and he felt the rope crown over his head. He looked back up at the sky, seeing the barely changed dunes in the distance and the wide sandy flatlands that lead far out on the horizon, and felt the information melt into his mind, imprinting him with encyclopedic knowledge of his home planet. Hero of eternity, whispered Thomas, still spitting sand from his mouth a little. Correct, said a computerized voice above his head. A glowing green form flitted into sight, as well as a drone, which stepped over to him and stared out of its one red camera eye. I can sense I've been gone a little bit longer than I thought. Why is that, OM? Your body has been dormant in the turquoise zone for 6 Earth days, absorbing the full measure of the harness of destiny, omniquitometer, and the psychic crown after your body was subject to a dimension-based molecular wash, answered the metal drone. Thomas listened, but his mind could sense something nearby that matched nothing like the molecular makeup of the rest of the desert or even the world. He reached down and pulled up a single golden feather from the sand with his mind, placing it directly between his fingers. It gleamed with a supernatural glow that told him no bird on the planet could have shed it. What do you make of this? Observation. There are no birds with golden feathers. Cellular tissue at the end of feather implies avian human physiology. The energy signature is unique, containing white magics. Are you telling me this thing belonged to an angel? Warning, for entities incoming. In a silent whisper, for black-winged forms surrounded Thomas. Even though their faces were covered by black cloth, Thomas could tell they were all female. Scanning. Their demeanor and lack of communication imply they mean you harm. Internal energy readings report high trace amounts of corrosive dark energy. explained OM in his mind. At once they descended on him, each carrying an ebony spear and sword at hand, and a round buckler at the left wrist. Thomas moved instinctively, his body flowing with the combat like nothing he could have accomplished before being enhanced just days before. Twisting around a double horizontal stroke and ducking around a lunging diagonal spear slash, he reached up, and a dark vibrating saber appeared in his hand at a mere thought. Thomas noted, even in the heat of battle, how light and well-balanced it felt in his right hand's grasp. He could hardly feel the blade slice completely through the torso and wings of a diving black angel. Another charged in, and Thomas's eyes squinted curiously. Flipping over another lunging form, he converted the saber into a spear and crashed the point down into the angel below him, piercing all the way through her back and out into the sand. Watching the last two swirling down at him in a zigzagging pattern, he gingerly pulled the spear up from the ground with his mind so that the body remained limp on the shaft. Waiting for the right moment, he flicked out, sending the angel carcass off the spear and flying into one of his attackers. The lone black angel reached in for a lunging strike, but Thomas teleported on the spot, whisking the spear in a circular arc that landed through the black angel from behind. Thomas stepped over to the black wings, trying to furiously flap and pull out of impalement, feeling OM working furiously in the background of his mind. It was glorious having the computer working for him while his full attention was on the battle. A venomous hiss issued from the felled black angel before him, and he viciously ripped the spear out with his mind, exposing black flesh and bone from the back of the angel, but no blood. When the final angel crawled and leaped forward, Thomas swiftly punched it back. It plunged in anyway as he ducked its spear, then the sword, and a swinging slash of her wings as they flit by even faster than her weapons. Teleporting beside her, the hero's eyes flickered sullenly as he commanded the spear through her side. She frothed a dark muck from her mouth. Thomas mentally pushed her away and closed his fist. The javelin exploded and the body of the black angel was reduced to smithereens. They knew I would be here. Correct. Scanning. Unknown blood magic signatures found. Tracing. Signature found. I like to go there and see what's what. Planet is shielded from teleportation. Then we get there the old-fashioned way. Thomas raised his arm, and a small starship appeared, able to seat just one occupant. It resembled fighter jets from the Earth Confederation's military, but Thomas knew to reinforce it and protect it from the various radiations and harmful energies in space. Leaping to its wing, he gazed back upon the Earth, and his eyes saddened at the war-scorched, desert-riddled planet he called home. His eyes found the blackened wreck of his aero bike from that height, still undiscovered in almost a week, and he sighed. Waving his hand, he teleported into the cockpit and glanced back at the Black Angels. Several OM drones flit into sight. At their arms, ion lasers appeared and began to sear apart the remains of the black assassins that were clearly left to greet him when he returned. It's safe to assume those angels didn't start off that way. Correct. What kind of evil makes slaves of angels? I'm not religious, but I thought angels were forces for good. Those women were drained of their blood too. Suggestion. Possibly the blood magic was done before the corruption. Perhaps, answered Thomas, watching as the last of their remains were incinerated. The drones were gone, and the jets of his starship pulled close just a moment before he took off, ripping out of the atmosphere and into the untamed stars.
If you're interested in reading about epic battles, vengeful duels, and hardcore sci-fi action, scan the QR code with your mobile device to purchase your copy of the 21 Trials of Thomas Forte now.